Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call to order the May 4th, 2016 meeting of the Frederick County Planning Commission. And would you share a moment of silence with us, please? Thank you. We do have the agenda to adopt.
Madam Chair, I move for adoption of the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. We have two sets of minutes. I'm going to ask that they be dealt with separately because we have a correction to the April 6th meeting.
Madam Chair, I move for adoption of the March 16th minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
The corrections.
Yeah. We do have a correction, let's see, it's on page 3328, and it is to suggest that we have, I'm sorry, let me get to where I need to be, 3328. We need to replace, down toward the end where the motion is made, Commissioner Dunlap's name for Commissioner Crockett, who did in fact make the motion, so.
Madam Chair, I move for adoption of the April 6th minutes with the correction.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. For committee reports, we've got the Transportation Committee, Mr. Oates.
Yes, ma'am, we met on May the 2nd. This past Monday, had a few items. The first was, if you remember, a couple meetings back, we had the discussion about the traffic going cut through from 50 over to Cincinnati Road, going through Oakdale Crossing and the Ravens. The citizens in Oakdale Crossing got their petition together and actually got signatures in. The Ravens didn't, but Oakdale Crossing did. So at the Transportation Committee meeting, that was forwarded on to VDOT to start investigating how they can implement some traffic calming and do some corrections out there. Second item was Eastern Eastern Road Plan map. There's just a few minor changes to that. A couple colors need to be updated. A couple of roads that were labeled as major collector need to be changed to minor. And that was precipitated by changes to the federal guidelines for road classification. So that was updating the map for the comp plan. Then there was a discussion about House Bill 2 and some applications that are moving forward. One new one that was decided to be added in was where the road ties into Cincinnati Road, just west of Oakdale Crossing, about putting in some turn lanes and adding that to our House Bill 2 application. Then Mr. Bishop gave us some updates on county projects such as Snowden Bridge. And then finally under other, back at our planning retreat, we had a discussion about TDRs and trip generation. And the committee assigned Mr. Bishop the task of putting together an outline of how that could be accomplished. And that's going to be presented at the June meeting of the Transportation Committee. If they like what they see, then they'll probably make a recommendation to the board to do a further study and advance that to see if we need to do any legislation. And I imagine after that, if it happens, we should see the Planning Commission. I imagine Mr. Bishop will give us a presentation on it.
Good, thank you. Thank you, very busy. Let's see here. I think that, Mr. Dunn, you're going to have to take up the last spot, and Mr. Dunn from the Board of Supervisors.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. The Board of Supervisors 2 weeks ago passed an outdoor festival permit at Cedar Creek for a reenactment of a Revolutionary War battle, the Battle of Meadow Fields, for June 4th and June 5th. They also passed a outdoor festival permit from 8 to 12 on Friday, June 3rd, down for a Renegade Dance in Back Creek District. And thirdly, they passed a rezoning of number 216 for the West Business Park submitted by Gray Wolf. So those were all passed unanimously.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for being with us. All righty, this is the time when, if there's any citizen who would like to make a comment to us, with the exception of the public hearing, if you come forward and address us. Well, we'll close the citizen comment portion. Our public hearing tonight is rezoning 03-16 for Shawnee Canning Company, Inc., submitted by Painter Lewis PLC to rezone 2.10 acres from the RA Rural Areas District to the B2 General Business District with proffers. The property is located at 231 Cross Junction Road, less than 0.3 of a mile from the intersection with US 522 North Frederick Pike in the Gainsborough Magisterial District, and is identified by property identification number 18-A41. Mrs. Perkins.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, members of the commission. As you stated, this is a rezoning application to rezone a little over 2 acres from the RA Rural Areas District to the B2 Business General District with proffers to accommodate office uses within an existing structure on the property. Now, I would note that this property is located within the limits of the Cross Junction Rural Community Center. And as stated in the comprehensive plan, these rural community centers typically consist of small lot residences with commercial type uses typical within a village setting. If I can direct your attention to the screen to your left, the property is outlined in black. As you can see, Cross Junction Road runs along the front of the property. The area in blue across the street is the existing Shawnee Cannery facility, and then the area in orange is the existing Shawnee Springs Market. Now, contained within the proffer statement for this rezoning application, first, there's a limitation on the use of the renovated building, and the rezoned parcel to office uses is generally shown on the proffered GDP. There's a limit of the number of employees for the office to 25, and I would note that the proffer also states that this number could be reduced if the health system approved for the property requires a reduction in that number. And then there's a payment of $500 to Fire and Rescue payable upon the first building permit. Now, this is the proffered GDP for the property. As you can see, the existing building, they're showing the proposed entrance location. So really just to summarize, the requested B2 designation is limited, and considering that the parcels surrounding the property are zoned M1 and B2 and used for commercial and industrial land uses, the request appears to be consistent with the goals of the 2030 Comprehensive Plan. So with that, following the public hearing, staff is seeking a recommendation from the Planning Commission to forward to the board. And I will be glad to answer any questions, and Mr. John Lewis is here on behalf of the application.
Thank you. Any questions of Mrs. Perkins? I don't see one. Mr. Lewis?
Thank you. I'm John Lewis with Painter Lewis, here to represent the application. Don't have a lot to add. It's a pretty simple rezoning request. The folks need office space, and this office will be in support of the existing operations. It's an existing house. It's been used as a rental. There are plans to renovate it. They can't renovate it for office use until they have the proper zoning, so that's why we're before you tonight. We've satisfied the agency comments, and we would ask for a favorable review from you all.
Thank
If you
you.
have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Questions? Yes, Mr. Unger?
John, do you all have, are you using an existing drain field, or do you have to do another one?
Yes, existing drain field.
Do you think that will accommodate the 25 that you're looking for?
Yes, it will.
Oh, good, okay.
However, the office won't. You might be able to fit 5 or 6 in that existing building. So at some time, there might be some expansion, and that time the drain field will be looked at again.
Oh, okay.
Any other questions, Mr. Lewis? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak to us about this rezoning? Anyone at all? Well, any other thoughts?
Madam Chairman, I want to congratulate Shawnee Canning. They were recipients of a Department of Agriculture Development Incentive Grant. They're a fine example of family-owned small business. Has been a real success story. I can certainly support this rezoning.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else have any
I
comments?
wholeheartedly agree with Mr. Crockett. I was there yesterday, met some of the owners. They've made a significant investment in upgrading their cannery there, and they're growing. It's a generational business that needs to be supported. I wholeheartedly support this.
Thank you. Any other comments?
I too support what they've done and what they're are going to do with this particular house and tying it into the business. So if no one else has any comment, I move for approval of rezoning 03-16 for Shawnee Can Company Incorporated.
Second.
All right, we've got a motion and a second to recommend approval. Mr.
Dunlap,
Dunlap?
yes.
Triplet, yes.
Kenny, yes.
Bolden, yes.
Oates, yes.
Crockett, yes.
Manuel, yes.
Ambrosi, yes.
Marston, yes.
Hungry, yes.
And the chair votes yes. This will go to the Board of Supervisors on the 25th of May. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I think that we've had a very short meeting, but it's made up and balanced by, I think, a successful retreat that we had 2 weeks ago, and we thank everybody for being involved, and we'll be obviously talking more about the discussions there later. Anybody have anything else for us?
Madam Chair, I move we cancel our May 18th meeting.
Thank you very much.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Thanks. Thank you very much.
Move for adjournment.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
Deal.